Hi guys, Roy here from Your Golf Travel. Day 3 of our Africa tour. No golf on the cards today, so a bit of a rest day, lots of driving though. So doing a bit of a road trip, and we're going to be stopping off at some of the most historical sites in the country, places where some of the Zulu battles went down. So I think today it's only appropriate really that we talk about some of the other amazing historical attractions that you guys can stop off on your days away from the golf course here in South Africa. Things that history buffs will be really interested to see. So just meeting the boys now, they're down at breakfast, and then yeah, as I said, full day of driving, no doubt through some amazing scenery as we've seen so far from these videos. So should we go on a road trip? Morning chaps, how's it going?
Morning Roz.
Where are you off to today?
Today we are...
Hello Tidders.
Today's
most enthusiastic man on the planet.
As always.
On the back of a bit of gambling win in the casino last night.
Yeah, I think he broke even, which is always a win. But we had fun, didn't we, Richard? Yeah. We're going to... The end goal is Nambiti. Okay. Via Fugitives Drift.
And that's more safari up in Nambiti, isn't it?
It is more safari in Nambiti. But yeah, we're going to go via Isandwana and Rorke's Drift, which is quite famous for the Zulu battles way back when.
Okay,
so
cool. So
little detour.
Yeah, Roy said to the guys, we'll chat a little bit about other kind of historical attractions that you can see in South Africa as well. But let's get going if we're late.
All as well, lads. Welcome to South Africa.
Right, just crossed back into South Africa from Swaziland, and we are on this lovely dust track for how far did us? 19 kilometres.
19 kilometres down there, yeah.
Come on, let's get back on the tarmac, come on. Tarmac.
Yes.
Ooh. African traffic jam.
He is
come on.
Not moving.
Out of the way, little man.
Thank you, sir.
More traffic. Just arrived at a little lodge called Fugitives Drift, and this is a great place for people who are looking to explore the Zulu battlefields. Unfortunately, we didn't really have enough time to stop at the other location we were aiming for today, because we've got an afternoon game drive at Nambiti, so we're just stopping here for a quick lunch, quick show around, so we can maybe put some packages together for people looking to come and explore this part of South Africa. Definitely get used to this view. Just unbelievably good. So we're just gonna sit down to lunch in a second. Gonna meet Duncan, who works here, and is gonna tell us a little bit about the history of the place. Obviously touch on some of that Zulu battlefield history, which you can come and see as well. As I said, really gutted that we didn't have time to stop off and see it ourselves. We're on a very tight schedule with lots of places to go, lots of people to meet, and as I said, get on that game drive later on this afternoon at Nambiti. But wow.
Sorry, hi there, I'm Doug. Rory, I'm supposed to meet you.
How's it going?
Oh, I was hoping it wasn't Nikon. I'm afraid we can't be friends now.
So we're not able to do anything with you now.
No, I can't even look at it.
We've got some lovely audio material raws for the car. Cool. So narrated by David Ratchley. This is infamous, and for anyone coming here, this is an absolute must listen to. It's available on MP3 as well for anybody who's going to get prepped before they come. I think what we would like to know is how you guys operate things. So if a client comes here for 2 or 4 days, do you have a nice little set plan, and how do you take them through the journey of this incredible historical site?
Guests don't typically stay more than 3 nights. 3 nights itinerary is basically afternoon of arrival at your leisure, and then we launch you into our tours the following morning. So Isan Luana, your first morning here, which is the big tour, which sets the scene for this titanic struggle, the who, the why, the what were the circumstances that brought this unfortunate and often people forget illegal conflict into being, culminating with your arrival at Isan Luana, where this awful story is told. Try and make it less awful, but without skimping on what actually happened there. And then if you're a three-nighter, head out on a walk down to the graves of Melville and Coghill, which is why this property is listed as a natural heritage and a cultural heritage site. The Fugitive Drift is about 1,500 yards out of there across the plain. And then obviously the following morning, at your leisure again, out to explore the reserve, what's called a soft game reserve, so there's nothing that's going to eat you, which does mean that you can explore the game reserve at your leisure, which is one of probably the more popular things to do, because there's no sharing, it's yours. There's no guide to hurry you along because he wants to get back for tea, or no other guests to try and make happy. So you find the giraffe, you can spend 3 hours with the giraffe if you want to, and when you get back, you've got a unique story. Nobody else was there.
Incredible.
And which is quite fun. Then that afternoon, out to Rorke's Drift. There, desperate fight. 139 men up against 4,000 warriors. Battle raged for 12 hours. 11 Victoria Crosses, 5 Distinguished Conduct Medals.
Wow.
It was an extraordinary story of I suppose the only way to describe it is desperate gallantry. It's a lovely little spot, this. It's one of those things where people will say, "Oh, you must get used to it." I think the day that I get used to this is the day I go and throw myself off a cliff, because what is the point then?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you can look out over this and just go, meh, there's a hole in your soul.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And add to it all the people out here, the history of this place, the sheer tragedy of it all. How all we succeeded in doing is taking the greatest sub-Saharan empire ever to raise this continent's dust and break them properly. And yet, after all the hell that we've put them through, after the hell that they're currently going through, they're still probably the most hospitable of all people in this country. Which is fantastic and quite humbling. So, anyway, as you can see, I feel quite strongly about this corner of the world.
It's very interesting.
But the main thing that people come for are the tours. But there's a lot to do.
Well, I think that's got me salivating. I think everyone watching this is going to be quite jealous of where we are right now. And
I think you'll have to come back.
Well, we certainly
Well, bosses at Your Golf Travel, you heard it here first. We have to come back. We have to. Right, that was a pretty amazing spot, wasn't it, boys?
best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. It is a crying shame we can't spend more time there, but we're going to brush up on the Anglo-Zulu War with the very kind gift, the Day of the Dead Moon, that the guys gave us. I'm absolutely fascinated by it, but I didn't really know anything about it, so looking forward to listening to that. But unfortunately, we have to take a little detour. We did have a game drive organised for this afternoon. Somebody got a little bit too overzealous when chewing on a snack in the car just now.
Any idea who?
We've got a split tooth on our hands. Jason's in a little bit of pain, dealing with it very bravely, I must say, but a bit of blood seeping into his mouth. So we're on the way to an emergency dentist appointment, which was not in the itinerary when I signed up for this trip. But we better get this sorted now, because we've still got another week or so in Africa. Right, Jace. Jump and run, mate. We'll sort the car out.
Thanks, guys.
Tooth fixed.
Off you go. Good luck.
Cheers, guys. Winning. TIA.
Teeth in Africa. Right, arrived at Dr. A.B. Human's dentist surgery. Really all hopeful that Jace isn't going to be in too much pain, can get this sorted and enjoy the rest of his trip. Very unfortunate incident to have happened, but these things do happen, unfortunately. So we're just kind of waiting outside the dentist surgery, seeing what the prognosis is. Fingers crossed the big man won't be in too much trouble and pain. And
the crack was very noisy.
Yeah.
I'm fearing for the worst at the moment.
Well, Well, we shall see.
Let's see.
Usually, the saying goes, what happens on tour stays on tour. But I'm with you this week.
Can we not apply that to this?
Pain levels?
Fairly mixed, but I'd say so maybe 7 or 8.
Jam. Well, let's go check into Nambiti and
Get some
take a load
painkillers.
off and...
Let's get a couple of Springboks.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm fine. To Nambiti Hills?
Yes.
Nambiti Hills, yeah.
Is it through here?
Yes, it's in here.
Sweet.
Right, just arrived at Nambiti Hills, checking into what is one of the best 5-star safari lodges in South Africa. I can already see a giraffe, about 200 yards off in the distance. I've got a funny feeling this place is going to be pretty special.
We were going to leave them, Rosemary.
Just for a bit of peace of mind and another TIA moment.
Yeah.
Emergency dentist appointment, including removal of said tooth, X-ray, etc. Total cost?
About £40. It's not so bad sometimes.
Value for money in Africa every time.
Yeah, why did you move to England again?
I'm not sure. I think I may cancel the return flights.
Yeah. Well, let's go check in and see what this Nambiti Hills has got to offer.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Nambiti, that boys. Pretty spectacular. Struggling for
Just got into my room at Nambiti Hills after spending a bit of time out on the back veranda overlooking one of the most spectacular landscapes I've ever seen. And I thought just before I get changed and head down to dinner, I'm going to talk you through one of my favourite historical / cultural things that I've done on my former trip to South Africa. This is over on the other side of the country in Cape Town, where you can catch a ferry from down by the waterfront out to Robben Island. Now, this is where Nelson Mandela was held captive for a huge amount of time. I believe it was about 27 years. You can take a ferry out to the island where the prison used to be and have a tour which is actually guided by a former inmate of the prison, which I think adds a huge amount of authenticity to it, and it brings the emotions right to the surface as well. And it's a fascinating place to go and visit. Obviously, quite like the Zulu battles, it's a part of South African history and culture which isn't necessarily nice, but you know, these things happened and it's important not to ignore or forget that they did. So yeah, 100%, if you're doing a golf holiday in and around the Cape Town area, a trip out to Robben Island is an absolute must in my eyes. But for now, it's dinner time here at Nambiti Hills, and throughout the rest of this video, we'll be taking you guys on another game drive at the crack of dawn tomorrow morning, and we'll also be talking about various other things that if you're a keen history and culture enthusiast, you should definitely be looking out for if you're coming to South Africa to combine world-class golf with historical and cultural sites. Alright, 5:22 AM here at Nambiti Hills. I'm just waiting for my wake-up call, so beat the clock, thank you. Heading out on a game drive this morning. We met our ranger last night. The guy's name is Biggie. Potentially the nicest guy on the planet, so the next couple of hours is going to be extremely good fun. I think we've got the wake-up call coming. Then we congregate in reception for some tea and coffee, and then head out in the jeeps, go out and try and find the big five. So hopefully Biggie can work his magic.
Oh, he is here.
You found the place?
We were just knocking on your door.
I've been here for 20 minutes, what are you on about?
That's good to hear.
Early rise for you.
No bad place to wake up early.
Haven't seen Biggie yet.
Where is Biggie?
Good morning, Africa.
Just wrap up a little bit now. Take your standby at
trying to track down a lion right now. Proving difficult. And Biggie's trying to get rid of us by going over the bumps a bit too quick. Right, we've been on the hunt for lions for the last
that's good.
half hour or so, but coming up empty so far, Jace.
Any rumours so far about a ravine? A couple of stones and nothing. No growls.
But we're just stopping for tea and coffee. Biggie treating us to a little break. Bit of amarula. Might be a bit early for that, but
Definitely not.
no, definitely not.
Bush coffee.
Biggie, what do you think of this man?
It's incredible actually.
So you came out to see some wildlife.
Exactly.
I'm giving you what you came
Got
for.
lucky.
Getting pretty close to the herd now, so we're trying to keep very quiet. Don't want the big guy charging us like he did the others. Although that would be quite exciting. Good footage. Do it for the tube.
Hey! Hey!
So random. Like, why? What's the point? How's evolution arrived at that as a solution to something?
They don't look comfortable, do they?
Certainly not when they're drinking.
How are you, Biggie? Good morning, everyone. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Nice warm, refreshing towel. Then a nice cocktail,
Thank you.
freshly squeezed.
Awesome.
No one is allergic to pineapple,
What an amazing morning that was. Only in Africa, really, you're going to spend the morning with a family of elephants getting that close. No words, really. But just going back to some of the stuff we were talking about yesterday, the historical attractions here in South Africa, I'm going to run through a very quick list right now of other things you can do, as well as the battlefields and things like Robben Island. You've got the big hole in Kimberley, which is a famous site for the diamond rush. A lot of you actually might recognise the name Kimberley from the Kimberley Process, which was signed there, which was made famous, at least to me, in that film Blood Diamond, which is a great movie. You've got the Cradle of Humankind, which is the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and that literally could be the birthplace of humankind. And you've got the Nelson Mandela capture site as well, right here in KwaZulu Natal. The list goes on and on and on, but basically, as well as the world-class golf, as well as the stunning scenery and the amazing wildlife on offer here in South Africa, there's so much history to be absorbed. Unfortunately, our time at Nambiti Hills is coming to an end. We're just about to have breakfast and then we have to hit the road because we've got golf this afternoon. So just going to go and catch up with the guys and see what they thought about our little rendezvous with the elephants this morning. Right, boys, I'm going to throw something out there. It's been really lovely to spend the last few days in your company, but it was a lot more fun to hang out with a family of elephants this morning. No offence.
Agreed. Mind you, I quite like Bumba, but the elephants were
Without a doubt,
incredible.
the closest I've ever been to any sort of wildlife on that scale.
Yeah, and you said it just right earlier. You were saying
you're not guaranteed to see every single one of the big five when you go out on a game drive in a place like this because of the size of the place. So it's not a zoo, but you're very unlikely to get up close personal experiences like that anywhere else apart from a proper game reserve like this.
Correct. What we experienced was once in a lifetime.
Yeah. So the point to make then is if you're coming to a place like this, you have to have 2, 3, 4 nights.
Take your time, get out there on every game drive possible, and you'll experience something that nobody else will.
We've got 15,000 hectares here as well, so plenty of space for the animals to roam about in.
Yeah. So off to Champagne Golf Resort.
Champagne in the Drakensberg.
About an hour and a half's drive.
So I mean, I guess in the last 24 hours we've experienced the historical side of South Africa. Stunning beauty of the place. I mean, the views just out there are just outrageous. And then the amazing natural side of things as well this morning.
Yeah.
But South Africa in a nutshell, and we didn't even play any golf in the last 24 hours, but we've got some this afternoon.
We do have some this afternoon.
And we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. But if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the Your Golf Travel channel, like the video, do all the usual stuff, post comments, and we'll see you guys soon.